Hey, everybody, and welcome to December office hours. What to do when things go wrong. My name is Beck Johnson. I am here with Jonathan, and Jonathan is gonna give us a little demo. But first, I just want to go over a couple things about AirMeet. Your cameras and mics are disabled, so we cannot see or hear you. And if you have questions, please put those in the little questions area underneath the chat. There's a little Q&A tab. If you click on that, you can put your questions there. We can bring them up on the screen, or you can maybe unmute your mic and ask your question as well later. But if you do have that, please put it in that area. Otherwise, we'll miss it. And I think that's it. Jonathan, please take it away.
Yeah. So this is going to be the last one, office hours for the year, of course, right? And I thought it'd be a good idea to do, this what happens when things go wrong. The reason is that things go wrong, and there are some common things that come up. I'm just giving you like the perspective from, let's say, support or whatever. Some of these things where people think, this is wrong, it's broken, whatever. Something is clearly wrong. It maybe isn't. It's maybe just a way of looking at it. Or, hey, sometimes stuff really does go wrong. In which case, you want to freak out immediately, become very nervous, write a all capitalized angry letter to support, and start the process going. But if you don't do that, you'll probably just hopefully you can figure this stuff out. So this would actually be a good one to ask questions on, because maybe things have gone wrong for you that I don't know what has happened out there. But let's just talk about some things that come up commonly. So I'm going to do this both in Pro and in Narrator, just a couple of things. And for those folks who haven't been to the Office Hours series before, I'm going to do this short presentation, show you these couple of things, and then we're going to stop the presentation and break out to tables. And at those tables, you could speak to a Hindenburg trainer one-on-one. So, but if you do have a question, especially if like something went wrong and you didn't know how to fix it, this would be a great time to ask. So, be that as it may, let's just get into that. Okay. All right. So here's a fun thing. Hold on one sec here. AirMeet, which is the platform that we use, has changed their stuff and has made us use a different browser. So we might have some issues here. Here we go. Okay. All right. So here is finally. All right. So here's Pro. So let's start with the Pro stuff, okay? What to do when things go wrong? All kinds of things go wrong. Here's the first one that comes up a lot. People click accidentally. You're clicking around in the file, and you accidentally make this little selection thing here. I mentioned this before. This is a simple one. If this happens and you don't want it to happen, you can press Escape. That will always go away, all right? I just mentioned that one because it's really fast. Here's another thing that goes wrong a lot. Folks get, I don't know, they have windows and they put them in different places, or something gets messed up. This video track, where's the manuscript, whatever. You always can go up to the file, the drop-down menus up on top. If you go to window there, you have this option right near the bottom, which is reset layout. And that will always put it back to kind of factory default, how it comes. So in this case, it opens up, there's the manuscript at the bottom, clipboards open up over on the side there. So if ever you open up different windows, dislodge them, get rid of it, whatever it is, you can always go to window, reset layout. It'll jump back to how it was. So let's talk about probably, though, the most common complaint, which has to do with how Hindenburg accesses its stuff. This is a blank session that's here, right? But if I opened up or a session, okay, which is what we're going to do, you'll see what happens. So let's say I'm going to open up a Hindenburg session. I go to open, and I've got my stuff saved here. Okay. So here are these sessions. All right. Now for every one of these, and hopefully you can see this. By the way, if you can't see this, put this, we're doing this via a browser, put this in full screen so you can see it. I'll zoom in on things where I can, but some of the windows I can't. But so what we have here is you've probably seen something like this. You probably have something like this yourself. You have your folder. Here's mine. It says Hindi sessions. And here are all these different Hindi session things. And I have for every one of these files, there is a corresponding folder that is the files folder. Okay. So every session has the session itself, the Hindenburg session, and a files folder. What's in the files folder is all these stuff. That's all the actual audio. The way this works, just from a programming standpoint, is that all the stuff that you do in Hindenburg is you're basically, the interface that's there is you're kind of just telling Hindenburg, do this thing. So for instance, a fade, it's going to reference that piece of audio that's in the files folder, and it tells it, put this, fade there. But the audio that's in the files folder is just the raw audio. It's all the stuff you're doing in there kind of references that audio to make your session. Okay. So that's kind of how it works. So it needs to always go back to that files folder. Okay. So I'm doing this on, but that's why, just conceptually, because that's what it's doing. It's always you say, make a selection and say cut. It says, okay, go to this piece of audio and then don't play this part. It's kind of how it works. All right. So here is all this stuff. Now I'm doing this on Mac, but the concept here is the same on Windows, or I guess just Windows. So you see this little cloud that's next to this? That's because very recently, these are audio files. There's a lot that's in this folder. These are all Hindenburg sessions. There's a lot here. What that cloud is that I actually ran out of storage or got close to it. So what your computer will do automatically, if you're hooked up to cloud storage, is it's going to take any files that are large files, and it will automatically put that in that storage. So this says, okay, here are my sessions here, but they're actually not here right now. They're off in the cloud. So if I was to try to open this up, you'd get something that says, hey, do you want to relink the audio? Okay. And the reason is that even though you think it's there, it's actually not there right now. So what you would have to do is click on this little cloud button, and on Windows, it's a different icon. It's the same concept though. See, it says, and if I hover over it, it actually says in iCloud. If I click on this, I'll download it locally, and that's it doing it there. And then I could just open it locally. That's the way that works. Okay, so I'm going to open up this session here, which I don't have to download. I've got this one here. All right, so it opens up. This is the one with the video, and there's the audio. It's that. Okay, there you go. It's a normal thing. So here's this bit of audio that's in the session. So if I was to, now I'm going to do a new blank session again. We're back to ground zero. Okay, I'm going to try to open up the same one again. But before I do that, I'm going to move the files to a different place. Okay, so yeah, give me one sec here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, here's the files folder for that video. Okay, I'm just going to move this, or I'm going to move whatever. I'm going to move this here. So now these are not in that same place anymore. Okay, they're not in the same folder. They're still on my computer. One's in one spot. So there's the Hindenburg session, then there's the files folder in another spot. Okay, now if I go to open it up, and I try to open up that Hindenburg session, that's it's this one here on my desktop that says video example. It's going to open it up, but it's going to have a problem, because it's going to say, hey, I'm expecting to find this stuff here, which is the files, but they're not there. It's the same reason it didn't open it up in the cloud storage thing, because it's expecting to find the files in this spot, but it says, hey, so they're not there. So what it will show me, now of course it's because I'm streaming, it's freaking out here, but what it in theory will show me is that it'll show the project. It would show any cuts I had in it, all these other things, but it's going to say, hey, this, or there are a couple of these different errors. It says the session was moved without the folder belonging to the session. Okay, so it's saying, hey, you have to move those two things together. All right. So if I was to do that and put that, and so here's what you get. Sorry, finally did it. Here's what you get. And this is confusing to people, understandably. So if you ever open up a session and something like this happens where you have a blank region, that's what these are, and it's going to be highlighted in red, it's because either the session has been moved or the files folder or wherever it got the audio from has been moved from the place it's trying to find it. So here's how you fix that. It's what to do when things go wrong. If I right click on this, so the easiest way in this case that I would fix is I'd put this folder, this Hindi session back where it's supposed to be, right? So, but if I right click on this and I go to properties, okay, it says, hey, same thing. I can't find it, okay? And that's fine. You can click, this window opens up, okay? And what you can do is you can click on this little ellipsis here, those little 3 lines, and you can find that audio, and you can do this thing where you can relink the audio, okay? And we have a video about that I probably put in a support ticket 1 or 2 or 3 times a day that says, here's how you solve that, okay? So here's where I would, need to find that audio, and then if I go to open, I can relink the audio and it'll find it and then, repopulate in there. And there you go. See how it did it? So that's how you would do it. If that's what relinking the audio means. It says, hey, the link is broken. I'm not finding it where I'm thinking I'm going to find it. So you right click, just go through that one more time, go to properties. There's a key command for that too. Go to this little ellipse that's here, this little, this is the actual file, and click on this, and then you can relink the audio. And then when you save it again, it'll be saved in a new location and you'll be good to go from there. So that's how you fix it. That's what to do when things go wrong for that. Okay. I'm just going to quit Pro, actually. And let's go to Narrator. Promise. Okay, so here's Narrator for our Narrator folks. Plenty of stuff can go wrong with Narrator. Some of those same things apply. You open up a session, you move any part of it, it's going to do the same thing. Outline in red says, I can't find it, okay? Some of the other things with Narrator, so for those folks who don't know, Narrators are other software that's about making audiobooks. Okay, a very common one are these kind of 2 things. So the way Narrator works is that you open up text documents inside of it. So you go open, and then you would open up a text document or an EPUB or whatever. And as you're recording, you're going along and you're recording. So mostly people use this to record audiobooks. And so if this book had 3 chapters and in the text of the book were actual headings, that's what this stuff is up here, this H1, H2 stuff, then they'll show up here in this contents window. But what happens is, for one reason or another, 2 things happen a lot. One is that there's no, it's called structure. There's no structure that's in it. And that's what is the case here. And so people don't know what to do. The whole point of this whole structure thing and with Narrator is that if I'm recording a 10-chapter book, I make one big audio file in Narrator. And when I am ready to go, I say, export for ACX, and it runs it through this validator, and it spits out all of the chapters individually, all ready to go for ACX, which is the hosting site for audiobooks. But if that doesn't happen, if there was no structure in there, it just spits out one big audio file, and it defeats the purpose. So I'll show you how to fix that. Okay. So if I was recording, this is the way you record in Narrator. Is you start recording, and then you press the right arrow key, and it goes to the next part of the text. Okay. And then it puts in these little navigation points. And so it syncs up the text and the audio. Okay. So 2 things I'll talk about here. There's lots of info about all of this and how that works. But sometimes what it is let's say that this, where I said, it says here in the manuscript, import audio, that's a chapter heading. There's a way you change that, okay? So let's say it's supposed to be a chapter heading, but it just isn't that way in the text. What a lot of people do is they say, okay, I'll put in a chapter heading here. but that's not what you want to do. Using these buttons up here is for when you want to create this structure on your own, as opposed to like you opened up a text document inside. So if you want to fix this, first, what you have to do is it can't be in ARM track mode. It can't be, you have to stop it from being in the process of recording. And then you come over here to the text, okay? And you have a few options what you can do. If you double click in here, it's blue, and blue basically means text editing mode. You also can press escape, and it turns to this yellow mode, which allows you to do a couple of these different things, okay? In either case, if I wanted to make this import audio a header, okay, if I right click on it, you see a few things here. It's called P, which just means paragraph. It's just like regular text. You have the option to change this into H1, which means a header, okay? And then now it makes it, changes the text size. And you see over here in the contents window, it's made it a chapter, okay? And that's the way that it works. And that would work on any line that you go to. You can go to it and change, and you can build the structure of your book after the fact. And now when I export this, it will actually export and give me these in different sections. So it would give me this import audio and whatever. Okay, I'm gonna show you two things, and then we'll break out to the tables. Two other things that just come up a lot for narrator folks. These navigation points. Remember, I said it's going to split this at this point. If this is in your Word and not in the space before you said chapter 1, for example, if it's in when you're speaking, it will split it in at that point. Also, the way that it works is that it adds and takes away space for chapter headings. So sometimes people get this effect where they go chapter 1. The reason for that is that there was no space where the header was. And so it says, hey, I need to add some more space because that's a requirement. So it just takes a little bit of something and makes a bunch of slivers of it. And that's how it adds space. And so basically, the long story short, put this in the space before you say chapter 1. Okay, one last thing with this for our narrator people. If you are here, sometimes for whatever reason, the nav points get off, they're in the wrong place, or you just need another one, you can do this thing called link text to time. It was developed for a different reason, but people in practical usage need to use it this way. So if I had to move a nav point or put a new one here, like at this point, you have to have this be in the yellow mode. So you get there by, if it's in blue, and it goes to the next part. Sorry, if it's in blue, press escape, and it will turn to this yellow mode. When that happens, if you right click, you have this option that says link text to time. And when you do that, it will put in a nav point there. So anywhere where you're in the audio, you click and you say link text to time, and it will put in a nav point or move the one over. Okay, so that's some super in the weeds stuff that is there for narrator users, but some of the other things we talked about in general, pro things, what to do, relinking audio, just how it works basically, and that kind of stuff. So all of that being what it is, I hope that some of that made sense to you. There are plenty of other things that can go wrong. The other main kind of takeaway is just relax, think about it, go to the website or on YouTube. It's a great resource. There are a lot of playlists there, tutorials and that kind of thing. On the website, there are guides, but they're just kind of like it gives you all the videos. There's a search function. So if you could think roughly what the thing is that you're looking for, that's a great place. There's almost certainly a video, which just might be hard to find. Hopefully we improve that in the future, but that's the idea there. So, look into it, but those things, linking audio, and some of that other stuff with narrator, hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, we are going to be out at the tables. And so if you have questions, you can come and ask us directly. So we'll see you later, everybody, and happy holidays, happy New Year.